Welcome to the SA Women Do Dubai podcast, hosted by Khanyi Mdhluli, the podcast that empowers and connects like-minded businesswomen around the world. Hashtag it can be done.
This program is all about building bridges among women that cut across social, economic, and spiritual divides. At this platform, they need to support each other. It transcends any other differences we may have. We set aside our differences and equip each other to take over the world. In this program, it's not about me, it's not about you, but it's all about us taking the world and change the world. Tonight, we are celebrating Youth Month, and we have our guest, our special guest. This guest that we have tonight, she loves youth. How can I say it? She has invested more in youth. Whenever I'm with her, she's always telling me about ways that she can do to develop our youth. This queen that I want to talk about, she's young, but you know what? She's got an eye to see something different in other people. I've seen her changing lives. I've seen her contributing so much in my life. I've seen her building herself from zero to another stage. I've seen her investing her time and her energy to the youth of South Africa. Her name is Khanyi Mdhluli. Khanyi Mdhluli, she's also a seasoned leadership, a career coach. She has extensive coaching experience and feels strongly she has a responsibility to guide those in need with their career and leadership journey to become the best version of themselves. She also holds an MBA and a Post Graduate Diploma Management from WITS Business School. In addition, she has a BSc degree genetics from the University of WITS. She is also a certified Prince 2 practitioner. Who's this queen? Says Khanyi Mdhluli. We welcome you. Can you please tell us more about yourself?
Thank you so much, Sis TK. I am very excited to be here today. And one of the reasons I feel strongly about this month, about women empowerment, is because somebody invested in me as a young person. Somebody saw potential in me. Somebody took the time to want to grow me as a human being. And so I give back in many ways, and I'll share some of them today with you. But for all intents and purposes, I love the ethos of South African Women Do Dubai. I love this idea of fixing each other's crowns. I love that because that is what I think life at the heart is about. You know, we are on this planet for a specific amount of time, and the opportunity we have to make a difference is great. And I take that personally very seriously. A little bit about me. I'm a sunshine yellow personality from Limpopo. I was born in the Tzaneen region. I am the middle child, and I have everything that is middle child syndrome that you can imagine. If you've ever heard of it, I have it. I also have a strong family structure. My mom influenced me quite a bit growing up, and a lot of what I do today is because of the time she took to build me as a human being. It wasn't easy for her. I came to Johannesburg to study, and I came to study my undergraduate degree in genetics. And it's the craziest thing because my siblings look very different to me, right? They are of a different skin tone. Their features are very different to mine. They look more alike than to me. And so growing up, I I was curious as to why. Why do I look different? So I studied genetics to try and understand why I look different. And so I did that as an undergraduate degree. I found that I had to spend time in the lab. Oh my goodness, so much time in the lab. We were crossing, I don't know if you've seen when you have fruit, right? Those little small flies that fly around that, they are called fruit flies. And to understand how genes work, we had to cross different kinds of flies to understand the eye color, right? That's some of the things we were learning in class. But oh my goodness, too much time in the lab. I was like, this isn't for me. But because I'm a young Black child, my parents had to work very hard to get me to university and keep me in university. I had to finish. So I committed and I finished the undergraduate degree. But during that time, I learned that there are other courses that I could do in business that are client-facing. You can speak to people, you can help solve problems. And because I hadn't been exposed to business studies, I was drawn to the business world. So I then registered for a postgraduate diploma in business administration. I went to the business school for the first time, very excited, and subsequently did my MBA at the same business school, because I needed to learn more about the world of work and how I can influence and become a better contributor. That is my academic career. As a human being, I feel so strongly about youth development. I actually volunteer of my time since 2015. I have been a business mentor and coach for a youth program called Ngatuto Edu Propeller. It's science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It's called STEM. It's a STEM movement program. And what we do is we help kids look for problems in their society. So whether it's rubbish, whether it's clean water, drinking water, whether it's healthcare, and so forth. So we get kids who are naturally inclined to be, science students, right? They have strong acumen or strong abilities in maths, in science, in technology, and so forth. So we help them to solve societal problems. And what we do is they go through a round robin. And that means, they go through competition week on week. They come with ideas. The best ideas go through to the next round and so forth. And they do that the whole year. At the end of the year, we have what's called a boot camp, an entrepreneurship boot camp. And there I help them turn their scientific idea into a business. And so I spend a week with them doing a business boot camp. We teach them, value proposition. We teach them what does it mean to have a marketing plan. We teach them accounting and finance. And at the end of it, they have like a dragon's den, right? You've seen them where you have to pitch your business idea to a panel. And in that panel, then a winning team, and they work in teams, a winning team is chosen. And that panel is made up of real life entrepreneurs, investors. And so I work closely with them, and I continue to work closely with them. And some of those ideas are being converted into real business, right? Businesses. And these kids are learning that at a young age of 15, 16, 18. And that's our next generation. We are building that foundation, and we catch them at that age. And we spend time teaching them principles of business, but we also spend time teaching them about their strengths and their weaknesses and, how they work with others. In a nutshell, that's me. I could say more. I love to talk. So I could say more, but I'll stop there.
I know you love to talk, and thank you for another side that I didn't know, the scientist side. But because now you told us about something, why Ladybug Construction? Because now you're also in construction. Tell me more from what you've been doing, and now you are moving to construction. Why?
So I think, we have generations of individuals, and they are stimulated and motivated differently. And the things that give them fire and passion and purpose are different. And someone I'm a millennial, so I'm a Y generation. And the research tells us that millennials will go through sometimes 5 career changes in their life. And part of my journey as a millennial, I renovated my own house while I was working as a management consultant. I forgot to tell you guys that I am a management consultant. I've been doing that for 17 years. And I keep going back to it, either when things are tough or because I'm not stimulated where I am, and it just gives me a chance to solve the world's problems. So I was renovating my house. And, it was a family friend, and shame, bless him, he was trying. But there's so many things that went wrong. And those of you who've renovated your house will know this. And I saw an opportunity to do this better. And I then took my savings. I was working at Discovery at the time. I took my savings. I took my bonus. I took my share options, everything I could, right, to have enough income, because they tell you must have at least 6 months to a year's income if you're going to be an entrepreneur, just in case things go bad. So I took everything I had, and I got a job as a contractor, working with kids again. I'll tell you that a little later. And then I started building a business in construction. The first thing I did is I went and wrote the NHBRC exam myself, and became the NHBRC certified practitioner for my business, and then started using people that I had met through my own constructions or small renovations, or working with, I moved into a complex where a developer was building. So some of the guys who were working in that development, I kept in touch with. So small team. We grew very fast. Our clients grew very fast over a period of about 6 years. And then COVID hit. And then, the rest is history. We're now on a recovery path. So that's how I got into construction. I saw an opportunity to do something differently that I thought, as a woman, I understand what it's like to have to live in a house full of construction workers, especially because it's a renovation, right? Most of the time you don't move out when you renovate. But I also thought, housekeeping, those of you who know construction will know this. Housekeeping is like, people don't do it well. I also thought, finishes, the finer details, how you do the lines when you paint, the skirting, how you install the windows and how cleanly you do that. And just painting, basic paint, rhino lighting. Oh my gosh, don't get me going. But I saw an opportunity to do it better. So I took it. And I started a construction business. That's how Ladybug Consulting and Ladybug Projects were born.
So have you experienced any failure in your construction company, or you just started and everything, it just went well?
The first 3 years, Sissy, I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? The money was rolling in. The clients kept coming. The work was exciting. It stimulated the creative side of me. As you can see, like literally, I am black and white. Like I have a strong creative streak. So it stimulated that part of me. So I decided I'm going to do this. I have to do this. Year 4, one of our clients complained. It was a corporate client. And they said, we are priced at a premium, and we actually need to revisit our pricing. And they stopped using us as a contractor. I think that was probably the first time I had experienced rejection. You must understand, leading up to that point, I was an overachiever, and everything I touched, proverbially turned to gold. And I didn't know where to start. And so what we did is we overcorrected. We completely went the opposite way. Instead of looking at our margins, we started pricing for volume. That was the first big mistake, because our operation was running on that margin, right? And now we've completely changed it. We don't have the numbers to justify the price point. So we don't have 10, 20 clients every month. We have 1 or 2. And if the margins are small, the business is struggling. I think that was the first big surprise. And I think we lost a lot of money. So the savings I had saved, now I needed to start using, because the pricing model wasn't right for the business. So that was the first one. There are many stories in construction of failure. I could probably write a book. There are so many.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have failed so many times. To the point, I think when COVID hit, we were in if you think about it from a hospital perspective, we were in the ICU. COVID took us out, and then I had to reset, and that's how I met you in the NHBRC program for women in construction, because I wanted to go learn the things that I didn't know about construction and business. You would think, she's got an MBA, she did this, she did that, she should know. No, School of Hard Knocks will teach you things no school ever will.
Wow. Yeah. I know so many things about construction, and sometimes we fall, sometimes we rise. But what makes you rise after all the rejections, the failure? And, there was a time that you felt like, what, I remember there was a time that you said, Ceci, I'm not doing this anymore. But what makes you stood up? And when I saw you, I was so proud, because one day you just called and said, Ceci, you fixed my crown. I'm standing up. So I just want to know, what makes you stand up after all those failures and the rejections and the ICU status that we were going through?
There are so many wonderful things in failing, in hitting rock bottom. And I know that sounds strange, but Jay Chetty is a former monk, and he's now like a motivational speaker. And one of the things he says, which is, I'm a living testament to, with every end is a beautiful new beginning. And when COVID hit, and that was the end of my business as I knew it at the time, I got an opportunity to pause for the first time, because as an entrepreneur, you're just constant running, and it's never ending, and it's one thing and it's another, and you just don't get the chance to stop and breathe. It forced me to breathe. And so in my breathing, I was able to think clearly. For the first time, and I got COVID, by the way, the first time we had COVID, I think it was the Delta, right? The one that, so many people passed because of the Delta variant. I got COVID. And I remember having a conversation with God in one of my, I want to call it a COVID fever. That's my pivotal moment over recent times. In my COVID fever, I had a conversation with God, and he said to me, you know what? It's not rocket science what you're trying to do. I have given you the innate ability. You are smart, you are capable, you are networked, you know how to convert thoughts into ideas. So how do you use that to your advantage? That was the first thing he said to me. The second thing he said to me is, I have put a village around you. Use the village. Don't try and do this on your own. It is so hard. It is so hard to run a business. For those of you who run your business on your own, it is an uphill battle. Kudos. I have so much respect. He spoke to me about using the people I have put around you. There are people who know things you don't know. There are people who know it better than you. There are people who can encourage you and grow you, and there are things you know that they don't know. Together, you are stronger. So use the village around you. That's why I naturally network. I'm very deliberate about it. I don't go out and try and, be everybody's contact, but I have a strategy that is quite focused when I meet people. And so I'm very clear about that village around me that God has placed in my life to empower me, to nurture me, to grow me, to make provision, and so forth. That was the second thing he said to me. And the third thing he said to me in my COVID fever was that it isn't all doom and gloom. You have now an opportunity to restart. And that's what I did. I restarted. I went to class and I learned, and I met you, and my life hasn't been the same since.
Wow. Okay, so we know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of what you are going through. Or maybe sometimes you have to go through something so that you can improve in your life. Because sometimes if you are comfortable, you won't grow. So now I want to come to one thing that I know that you are passionate about, like leadership and business coaching. Please tell us more about that one. That one, I know every time when you call me, it's all about, says, I met someone, I'm investing my time to this woman or this young girl. So we want to know more about it.
So when I was younger, I had 2 or 3 people that took a special interest in helping me grow as a human being. And I think I touched on it when we started talking. And I somehow started adopting some of their principles and their ethics and the way they engaged and the humanity with which they engage with the world. And I remember when I joined, so I worked at a company called McKinsey & Co. For those of you who know, this is one of the best consulting houses in the world. Globally, they are renowned for strategy and do that particularly well. And I was fortunate enough to work. It's very hard to get into McKinsey. Like, I think from every 100 people that apply, 1 gets in or something like that. So I was very fortunate to work there. And while I was there, we had to, as young consultants, be part of the interviewing process. And in that interviewing process, you had to bring your best self to help someone get in, because it was very difficult for Black people in particular to succeed through that process, just purely because of the mechanisms they use to test, right? To do tests that are Eurocentric or focused on, Americans and white men and so forth. So it's already stacked against you. So our job was to help prepare other Black people to get them into the organization, not knowing that this is the birth of my coaching career. And so I used to help people prepare for interviews. I literally took time every evening, maybe twice a week, not every evening, twice a week, I would sit down with someone who's trying to get into McKinsey, because it is that prestigious, people want to get in. So the list was long. I did this for 2 years and I thoroughly loved it. I loved every minute of that coaching process. I think I enjoyed it more than my job. And so when I moved jobs, I went to go to Discovery. I was at Discovery House for about 2 years as well before I went out on my own. I realized that without thinking about it, I started coaching people. I started helping people. I started recognizing things in people. I started seeing potential because I'd spent so much time, right, thinking about it. I don't know if you know, there's an author called Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell talks about 10,000 hours of practice. And he says people become the very best at something because of the effort they put in, right? It's not even about intellect. It's not even about what school. It's not even about what back. It is just purely focusing your effort in getting that thing right so that you can be the best at it, right? It's 10,000 hours. I had my 10,000 hours of coaching, and now it was ingrained in me, and I've seen other people do it for me, and I wanted to pay it forward. So I started coaching people around me, not knowing I'm doing it. And when I eventually learned the language of what a coach is, because I think at the time it was still emerging as a concept, even now there's so many different kinds of coaches, right? So when I learned what the word was, I'm like, that's what I'm doing. I'm a coach. Okay, I like this coaching thing. How do I get better at it? And so I started reading. I started talking to other people who were coaches. And the more I did it, the better I got at it. And then I started doing it formally as a leadership coach. So if you're on a leadership journey, because there are things you don't know and that I've learned through my journey, I can help you navigate. So I started doing leadership coaching and career coaching. Because I also did it for interviewing, I realized that a lot of people don't know why they do what they do. Why are you in this job? Why do you want to move to the next role? Why? Sort of asking those why questions. And then a friend of mine, when I told her I'm a coach, is like, of course you've been coaching me since we met 20 years ago or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's something I was actually naturally doing and I wasn't aware. So she recognized the superpower in me I didn't know. So feedback became that thing that I live for through the coaching.
Okay. What does personal development mean to you? and for the young people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ceci, the thing about it is, and I love that you asked it now, because a lot of us don't know why. We don't know why we were born. We don't know why we are here. We don't know why we're doing what we're doing. There's so many unanswered whys. And personal development for me is the beginning of you answering that question for yourself. Why? And part of it is identifying the things, and you can ask people around you. Not enough of us ask for feedback, right? Ask people around you, what am I good at? What do you think I'm good at? Not because you don't know, but you're curious, trying to see what you put out in the world. What am I good at? What do I need to start doing differently? What do I need to grow in? And for me, that's the beginning of the journey. You know, a lot of us also go to study higher education and so forth, if we can afford it or if the situation allows. And you go and study a course because, I don't know, it's popular, or somebody said you should, or your career counselor at school said you're good at it, or whatever. The point is we go down a path without thinking about why. So for me, as a human, as a young person, as a middle-aged person, as an elderly person, the why, and it's never too late, right? You can start anyway. The why becomes everything. Why am I here? I call it my happy place. So talking like this to you is my happy place. I will do it endlessly. Coaching is my happy place. Creating in the construction space is my happy place. So I had to find my happy place. And for me, personal development is going to help you get to that happy place. And if it needs to shift and change, it's fine. You'll be able to grow with it, right? So I call that the North Star, your journey, destination, where you're meant to go. Personal development will get you there. So those are my thoughts. As a young person, if you don't know today what you're meant to do with your life, start asking questions like, what am I good at? What do I like doing? You know, that thing that you can do for hours and not even feel that time has passed. That thing is part of your happy place. Your happy place will help you define a journey, and there will be people along the way who will help you walk that journey. So that is for me personal, and it never ends. So, see, I hear you all the time telling me, oh, I'm doing this course. Oh, no, I'm doing this course. Oh, I'm going to Zimbabwe. I'm doing this course. That is personal development. That's how you become a better business person. That is how you become a better human. That is how you add value to the world and the people around you. And that's how you give back to the world around you. So that's what personal development means to me. And I never stop. I'm constantly at it.
Is there any age restriction to start or to finish with personal?
we are developing until the day God says, okay, time to go home now.
Okay. So, yeah, you know what? I've learned when I met you, you also helped me so much to say, keep on doing, keep on pushing. Sometimes you'll give me, tasks that I don't want to do it, but because you're like, Ceci, we don't stop. We keep on pushing. We are in the race. We have to run. I don't know until where, but we keep on running. Mm-hmm. It's a personal development plan, a once-off plan, or maybe you can just say, okay, now I'm doing it for 3 months, and then after 3 months, I'll just have to stop there. Or maybe for 3 years, like a degree or a diploma. Or what can you tell a youth or someone or a woman who is interested, but maybe they don't know that this thing is a life thing that they are going to do it, but maybe they're just giving themselves restriction to say, okay, maybe I just need 3 months to do this. What can you advise to them? What advice?
So personal development is not a once-off thing. I think with maturity, as we grow, as we learn, as we interact with people, as we get stimulated by different things that we are exposed to, as we get exposed, as we make money, all of it changes us in very different ways. So the plan must live like you live. So it needs a focus and a revisit. You have to visit it over and over and over again. Is this serving me? Is this serving my purpose or my North Star? is this taking me that much closer? Who do I need to talk to? Who can I share this with? Who can help me? You've done that for me, Ceci. I've come to you and I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. You're like, maybe rethink and think about it like this. Or maybe you can do it like that. Oh, yes, that actually works well, right? So in talking about it, we also learn and by the benefit of other people's experience can grow. But personal development doesn't stop because something's been achieved. So I think for a woman who's on a journey, whether it's to start their own business or to grow in their career, the first big thing I would say is be very clear. Be very clear about what it is you're trying to achieve. And it can be a simple sentence like, for me, it's about helping people become the very best version of themselves. And that I can do in renovating their home, in helping them with a leadership journey or a career journey. So, but my purpose is clear for me. So that's my North Star. How can I make you the best version of yourself? Whether it's in living in the best house you can afford to renovate to, whether it's being the best absolute speaker you can be. Maybe it's about being the best leader. I don't know, but it never stops. So start with clarity of what it is you're trying to do. The second thing is, who can you use? Remember that village I spoke about? Who in the village is there to support and help you? And I'm big that it must be two ways. If it's one way and you take, it's not sustainable. At some point, something's got to break. So it has to be both ways. I'm a big believer in reciprocating that you are given, putting good into the world because it comes back to you. I have seen it work. And that's the second thing. The third thing, and I'll give three things because our brains can only remember three things at a time. You'll see I do that often. It's always in threes. The third thing is, I think you need to make sure that you understand what it will take to succeed. What does success look like and what it will take to succeed? You will have knocks, rock bottom. You will grow and learn, and there's always a beautiful new beginning. And so trusting that it will work out the way it should is the third thing. But it's not going to happen by chance. You need to put in effort every single day.
Okay, thank you. I just want to ask something, and I want you to be honest with me. You are a coach, you are a business developer, you do leadership developer, you are in leadership development. And have you ever sometimes felt, and you are helping TK to develop and other people around you, but have you ever felt like so down in a way that you can't help yourself? How do you deal with it? Because you are a coach and you are helping me as a person to grow, but somewhere, somehow you feel like, oh no, this is not working for me. So how do you deal with it?
You know the saying that you can't serve from an empty vessel. By that, it means you need to take care of yourself as much as before you can take care of others. You know, it's a simple analogy. You know, when you're on an airplane and they say you must put on your mask before you can, you know, if there's ever an emergency, you must put on so you can breathe before you can help someone else. So for me, and I love that song. I don't know if anyone heard it when we were starting, Your Spirit by Tasha Cobbs. And, you know, we are vessels. We are here to serve, and God works through us to help others. And I feel strongly that, you know, the Spirit must breathe through us. Of course, I get depressed. I am human. Of course, I have bad days. And, you know, and I'm a big believer that you can draw negative things to yourself. So there are a few things I do when I'm feeling like that. The first one is I cut the cycle. So if I'm having a bad day, it stops here, which means I will close my curtains and I will shut down and I will reboot, because this computer needs to be switched off and restarted. And that usually for me happens overnight. And then in the morning, I'm feeling better. That works for me. Everyone has their own technique. That's the first thing. Secondly, I have a coach. And I have people around me who support me. And so I'm able, and I call them my unofficial board, right? Like a business needs a board of directors, and there's a reason why a business needs a board of directors, because they are experienced and they know what they are doing, and therefore will bring that to the business. So as a human being, I have a board of directors, and they are my friends, they are my networks, they are people I trust, that they have my best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. And they have skills I don't have. So, for example, on my board of directors is a chartered accountant, is a lawyer, is an entrepreneur, is a property developer, and an estate agent, and a queen ambassador of South African Women Do Dubai. So I have people around me who can fix my crown when I'm feeling like that. So I surround myself with people who can help me and I know have my best interest at heart. So that's the second thing, So I reboot and then I have a board of directors. And the third thing is around, I am such a passionate human being. I'm such a passionate human being and I take chances and I have such a risk appetite. And so I try and try and try again. I've seen rock bottom. I can come back. I put a post. I love to put inspirational quotes on my Instagram. And one of the posts was, you can take absolutely everything that I have, everything, and strip me bare. I will come back and get every single thing back because it's not on me, it's within me. So I do the inner work.
Wow.
That's how I come back.
I know. So we bounce back. We don't just fall and you just say, oh no, pelile. So we fall, but we stand up. So I want to ask you, what would you tell a young businesswoman or man out there? Because as we celebrate Youth Month, she has started a business. She doesn't even understand about self-development. And when you talk about self-development, she doesn't have a clue what you are talking about. What advice and how you can change her mindset?
So I want to say this. The first thing is you need to be solving a problem that the world needs solved. That world can be as small as your village. If you're a village girl like our queen, Sister Khan, it can start in your village. It can start in your township. It can start in your community. It can start in your suburbs if you're a burbs girl. Wherever you are, or a guy, wherever you are, it's about solving a problem. And if that problem deserves enough attention and so you can do some homework, right? And deserves your efforts and your money and your time because it's going to take all, they say blood, sweat, and tears. They're not lying. It's all of it. Running a business is not for sissies. Let's not beat about the bush. It's also not about glamour. You look at Abo Sisimpo, she's running her own practice. She's running multiple practices. She's living the fancy life. And you think, oh, this is all glam. It's all glitz and glam. She's flying to Dubai, doing all these amazing. No, it's not. It's blood, sweat, and tears. And it's a sacrifice you choose every single day. Of course, there are moments when things absolutely are sparkly and beautiful, but they're not every day. So the first thing I'd say is you're solving a problem and you're prepared to put in the work. And there is a real need for it. The second thing is go and find people around you who have done this before. I wish I'd done that. I wish I had done let me find out what it actually takes to do this well. And I would say, that unofficial board I spoke about, find one. Ideally of people who are in the entrepreneurial space. Ooh, Shlongo. Hey, entrepreneurial space. Those people, Find those entrepreneurs in your community, and you'll be surprised how much they're prepared to share. I think entrepreneurs are some of the most giving people because they make the sacrifice on a daily basis, right? To pay salaries, to pay rent, to pay suppliers, a lot of the time they'll pay others before themselves, right? And also psychologically be prepared to sometimes put yourself last, because that's what it means to be an entrepreneur. It's not right. I wouldn't recommend it, but sometimes you do because you operate from a place of heart. A lot of us do anyway. So I would say then surround yourself with people who know what you need to do and some of the things you're going to need to do. And they'll give you advice, finances. So some of the best advice I got from you around just, how do you run your business and how to build a profile and how to build a credit rebuild, because mine was like with the dogs, to rebuild your profile. So ask people around you for advice and guidance. And then the third thing I would say is then learn. And that part is the harder part. Learn, guys, finding money, capital to start a business is hard if you don't have it. Where to go? There are people who know where to go. And it's not always just the bank or a grant, or there are many funding models. So try and understand what it will take for you to run the business and what your working capital, which is the money you need to run the business until it starts making its own money, for how long you'll need that, right? The startup fund, they call it, how long that will take. And then I would say just start. A lot of it you'll learn as you go. Some of us spend too much time trying to make it perfect. It never will be.
Wow. I think everyone who's next to me, I always say I'm willing to learn. I'm learning almost every day. But there's one thing that I want to understand. Where do you get your fulfillment? With me, my fulfillment is when I help someone and I have my levels. I can help Khanyi or whoever who is in my space. I'm okay with that. But my fulfillment is when I go somewhere, maybe at a village or somewhere, then I find this person struggling or something, then I help someone just to move from one step to another step. For me, that day I'll be fulfilled. But I know you are passionate about youth, but where do you find your fulfillment? Where once you have done those things, you are like, oh, Khanyi, I've done it today.
I think as a coach, it's emotionally, it takes a lot because you are empathetic. You are hearing where they are coming from and some of the challenges they are facing and how to support them. You are their accountability partner. And, sometimes you have to call it and hey, this is nonsense. What do you mean by that? And when I see that person who I've been coaching, literally their life changes, how they interact changes, their job changes, they are happy, they understand their purpose, they have aligned themselves with people who are going to help them on that journey. Sometimes it's I have a series, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, Let's Connect. Let's Connect was born out of the passion of coaching. We run a monthly webinar series. There's a few of us. We're across the continent, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Zambian. So we every month sit and we bring a topic to life. And we use entrepreneurial experience or corporate experience or whatever life experience we've had. And it's fulfilling. That for me, that's part of my happy place, right? I spoke about it. So coaching does that for me. And people will write me afterwards and like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that this was a problem. And now I have a plan on how to fix it. Or they're like, I've been promoted. I'm so excited. Or I actually got into an argument with someone today and I was able to show up differently because of the conversations we've been having. Or someone saying, actually, just having engaged with you has changed my worldview of who I am. And I now understand myself and I'm proud of myself. So that is my fulfillment. The reward comes in seeing the change and helping people, like I mentioned before, become absolutely the best of who they can be. And we all have it within us, all of us. We have a best version of ourselves. It's your race, your lane, and you can be the best of you.
Okay, what advice do you want to give to the youth of today concerning their businesses as we close, self-development, things to do, things to change their lives, and things not to do?
Okay. So that is my favorite framework, start, stop, continue. I think some of you would have seen it or heard it when we were in Dubai. So young people, or anyone actually, what do you need to start doing? More than anything, I think let us start investing time in understanding how we can give back to the world. And that by that, I mean, what is my purpose for being here? Why am I on this planet? The why, the North Star. So find your North Star. Even if you don't know how you're going to get there, find it. And it must scare you. If it doesn't scare you, it's not the right North Star. So what is the reason that I'm here? And what am I supposed to do? And the thing I think people need to stop doing, a lot of us are very hard on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm one of those people where I set I'm so demanding on myself that I stretch myself sometimes to the point of breaking. And it's something that I continue to work on. But I think we need to stop being hard on ourselves and being kinder to ourselves. That's the second thing. The third thing I think is around what you need to continue doing. I think all of us have something. It's inside. You feel it. You know, there's a reason. There's these ideas, for example, that come to you all the time, right? And then you either block them out or you're too busy or whatever. But they keep coming at you. They're coming at you for a reason. So I think we should think about how we can give into the world, because we are vessels. Mm-hmm. We are vessels. We were brought on this planet for a reason, and it's through us that we can give into the world. I think if we stop focusing on what can I get out and start focusing on what I can give, I think it's a fundamentally different place you are operating from, and the universe rewards that and God rewards that.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sis Khanyi. As we celebrate Youth Month, is there anything, because this month, as I said, it's a special month, is there any gift that you want to give to someone out there, not your queen's daughter or son or someone that you know, but someone that you don't know, something that you want to give just for them to understand that there is someone who cares, and there is someone who's seeing my effort. There is someone who's appreciating my business, regardless of how small it is. And there is someone who believes in me. You spoke about rejection. And some of us, when I was youth, I was rejected. I was told that I cannot make it. I remember I would dream, like, I want to be one of the business women. I want to see myself driving this car, staying in this house. And most of them, they'll be like, oh, do you know what you are talking about? You know? So, but because there was one lady or one person who saw something that those people, they couldn't see. And that person, some of them invested their time, their energy, and just to tell me, TK, we know you can do it. So is there anything that you want to invest in anyone? I'll pick, I don't know, but we will vote and we'll find out who this person deserves to get something that we can give out.
Sure. I've got two things, actually. The first one is my time. I know that sounds strange for people, but I charge by the hour to coach. So I'm willing to give an hour every month for the rest of the year to a deserving young person who needs a coach, who needs somebody to help them accountable, who would love to get help with navigating the entrepreneurship journey. There's pitfalls, ups, downs, sideways, all of it. I have seen the glory. I have seen the pits. I am back on the rise. So I would love to share that with someone. So I'm giving of my time. That's the first one. The second one is I'm a big accessories girl. I love earrings. I love glasses. I love, to prettify rings and things like that. So I would love to find an accessories brand that I can buy from and promote for the rest of the year as well. And wherever I go, my job will be to promote your business.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sis Khanyi. We are looking for women. It's all about youth. Let's empower them. Let's buy from them. Let's go to them and spend some time with them and just say, you know what, you are doing well. Sometimes go to that restaurant. I know you are dieting and whatever. Just try to buy pap and something to say, I know you can do it. I know one day you can own a big restaurant and everything. Some of our youth, they just need someone who will come and say, I know you can do it. I know you can do it better. The fact that you have started, I know something can happen.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on @SA Women Do Dubai. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.